Joining me. Hi creatives, Serena here. Thanks for joining me today on my YouTube channel. Today I thought I would test out and swatch some chroma blends neon watercolors from Ooly. Now this isn't the normal kind of artist supply that I work with, but I do a bit of junk journaling, and I thought it'd be fun for little doodles and kind of little highlights on things. So let's take a look and see how they swatch out. I've got some black paper here to try, and it's all gridded out the way I usually grid them out. And let's take a look and see how they perform. Open them up here. I don't particularly care for plastic packaging like this, you know, landfill and all, because it's there permanently. Nice looking set. Of course, it's to appeal to little kids. And it's got a brush in here that is also probably for, you know, kids. It's got a little point to it, which is kind of nice, but I don't think it will perform very well. This pen has a little crack in it there. So, don't know how it's going to work. It'll probably water up just easily. And you can tell just by looking at it already, of course, these are very chalky. They feel chalky to the touch. When you're used to things like Schmenka and Turner watercolors, you know, no comparison here. But let's get started with swatching. And what I've done here is to set aside a page in my Etcher journal. I've decided to go with some pages in the back of the journal where I can do just my swatching, and I like to swatch the paints that I'm using on the journal that I'll be painting on rather than just a scrap piece of paper, because you can get an idea of how the paint works on a scrap piece of paper, but if you're really looking to see how it's going to look on your finished product, you want to swatch it in your journal itself. So I've set aside these pages in the back, and what I'll do, since I don't like to get the other swatches messy that I've already done, I'll take some, I've already got some tape here to cover this up. Alright, let's get started. I've got a number 4 brush, and we'll get that wet. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm also going to pre-wet these. So let me get a pipette. Alright, so what I'm using today is a Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press black paper by Legion, and it is meant for watercolor. I have noticed when I swatch the other side with some pearlescent paints that the tape does tend to pull off the paper, but since the pigment is through the paper, even if you pull it off, it's not just black on the top, it's all the way through, so it won't really make a difference as far as what I need it for. I do want to get a piece of paper though under this so I don't ruin the splat on or ruin the swatches I've already done there. Let's take a look and go ahead, and I'm going to just kind of wet these. You can see how chalky they kind of are. I'll just wet them all. There we go, just a couple of drops. And I'm going to use today a number 4 synthetic. Let me put that in the back. And let's take a look at the first one here. I'm sure, you know, it takes a little bit of rubbing to get that off. It feels quite chalky, but I'm more interested in the actual color. Of course, this is a children's set, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of dramatic things here. And I've got my 2 grids here for this particular set. I do have a Kuretake Starry Colors metallics that I would like to use the 3rd row for. So I'm not going to do that today, but I'm setting that aside so that I can. And I've already got it ready to go. So let's take a look at this, see how these perform on white. Okay, so they're not very, they don't perform like watercolors at all. You can see they're quite, that one's quite see-through. It didn't give me a smooth go down the swatch there. Well, let's try the next color. I'm going to go, I guess, in this. Hard to say. I guess I'll go in the order in which they give them to me. I usually like to go light to dark, but it doesn't matter. That's just the OCD in me here. Okay, and again, it needs a little bit of work to get it out. I'm glad I did pre-wash it there, pre-wet it, and you can see the black right underneath. It is not very opaque at all, and I can see I'm going to have to use them in a different way than I use my regular watercolors. Let's just put it that way. Here's the orange, and I might cut these, edit the painting out so that we go a little faster for you. I don't want this to be a boring video. Just to give you an idea, if you are crafters out there, or if you think you might have a use for these, what these might look like, how they're working. And there's the difference between student grade or artist paints and professional paints. Of course, each step up is a nice step up, and you get more quality for what you pay for. These are neon paints. I don't know if there are too many neon paints in professional sets. Neons, maybe I saw fluorescence somewhere. I'm trying to remember where the fluorescence came in. And here I'm putting it in, I'm starting to get in darker colors, so I'm going to rinse in 2 water containers. You see how this one, with just the second rinse on that one color, made it a little cloudy. So you want to get all that paint out if you are wanting to keep your brush true to color. Okay, now this one, see, it has kind of gotten that thickness there. The colors are kind of out of order in a way. See, it's doing the same thing on each one, pretty much, and I'm getting a little bit more water on there because it soaks it up so readily. You can see how they're drying very chalky already. I think I'll go with this as the next color. Now I'm going to completely confuse myself and like double up or skip one. I'm sure I will. That's a really nice color, but again, it's not very good quality, I would say. It's a student grade set. I'm not expecting much. It would be interesting to see what these look like on white paper, though. So I think I'll give you a little taste test, so to speak, of what it's going to look like on white. That one's a little bit watery to begin with. I think I added about 3 drops of water in there. But let's see. It's the same. Very watery. Okay, now we're going to go into, did I do that one? I'm on 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm going to this one. Let's take a look and see what this looks like on paper. Of course, this one's, I don't know how fluorescent they can get purple, but it just looks like a regular purple. It's not, it's opaque color. It's not watercolor for sure. But I mean, you could use it on white paper as well. It has a little bit of an interesting effect there. In fact, more interesting there than on the black. Let's go ahead and continue on. We'll get the blue next. I think I might take a break in a while and change out this water here, because it looks a little bit dirty, at least the first one does. I see I should have put just 1 drop of paint of water on the palette. I'm sure kids would love this. If you have kids, I mean, you know, crafting aside, if you do any crafting, that's great, but kids would love this. These would make great. I wonder if they glow in the dark. They kind of look like they would. I don't unfortunately have a black light, so I can't test it out. Glad I just put a little bit of water in that one. See how that goes. That's the same. They're all pretty similar. It's not like you're going to get a lot of variation. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, wow. You can see how the fluorescence is coming out on that color. I mean, it just is really, really fluorescent. Doesn't get very much lighter than that, though. Not really. Let's go ahead and finish this one so I don't have an empty spot in my swatch book that I'm wondering what in the world I did there. And here's the last one. The yellow. I'm sure this one looks really fluorescent on the white page. So you see, you just have to try different things. Of course, these don't look so great on black. If this is showing right through, if the black is showing right through, it actually looks horrible. You get a little bit of a green in this shade, and that looks terrible. Let's look at how it looks on the white. In fact, I should swatch these all. Oh, look at that on the white. You really see that. It really sticks out. I should give you a little bit of each one on the white. So let's take a look. I've done the yellow and the green. Let's do the other green. Do that one right there. That's not very thick. Not really. Okay, let's try the blue. I've never really thought certain colors were conducive to neon anyway. I always thought like the yellows, the oranges, the reds. You've already seen the purple. Let's do this one. I've always thought these pinks and such were more conducive to a neon effect. See, of course, in that one you really see it. The white, you're not going to see white on white, so I'll skip that one. Here's the light orange or the yellow. That's got a little bit of a neon color to it. Here's this one, the orange. Of course, those you always see, orange vests and orange t-shirts and so forth, so that's easy to get a neon effect in. How about this one? That's kind of nice, that melon color. These actually look a little better on the white than they do on the black. I just thought my instinct pushed me toward the black. But there's the last color there, that true orange. So now you see what they look like, and here's how they dry. We'll take a look at how they, how the colors look once I take the tape off. What I think I'm going to do now is actually film another video with the starry colors. So that'll be a separate video, but at least you get an idea of how these perform and what they look like. If you want to use them for crafts or something, they're kind of nice. I like them on the white paper, of course, better. They're very blotchy on the black. As you can see, it's very chalky. But for a kid's paint, I'm sure kids would be thrilled to use these. They're probably the only ones on the block that have a set like this, if you get them for their birthday or some holiday or some other such, to keep them from going crazy when they're stuck at home, and to keep you from going crazy when they're stuck at home, too. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It gives you an idea of what they look like. It's just something different. Again, it's the Ooly Chroma Blends Neon Watercolor Set. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.